Welcome back.
It is certainly good to be back. Hello everyone, I am back here again to play some more Code Vein.
Waiting for such a long time.
Yes, you have been waiting for a long time. 2 weeks in fact. The reason why it took so long to actually get this video, my internet went out. Since I'm a broke college student, I can't really go and do about that, so the way to do it, I had to wait for them to come to me and like, oh, fix this and that. So, for most of this playthrough, I will be shutting up during these types of cutscenes. I'll even stop the recording here and there when major things come up. So actually, we'll shut up and we'll allow this to play through.
Everywhere is thirsty. There is a spring that will cure that thirst, one that weeps tears of blood. That's what they said, anyway. This way. It's all right. It's all right. So, it is you. Here. This is for you.
A new spring and a fresh source of labor. Ha! We really hit the jackpot. Get up. It's time for a bit of fun.
And as you saw in the previous cutscene, after we somehow had our clothes been through and blood being seeped out, we passed out and were taken hostage by some random group of people. What mask?
Those too, have you? I'll tell you whatever you want to know, but first, go back there and put on a purifier mask.
Yeah, and as you can see, like most people, actually everyone pretty much has a mask on. And you can even see the frame going like around your chin, and depending on the design you put, it goes down to your neck at times. And as you can see, this prison looks like we're being held in across the sky, because you can see like all this red mist, and you can't really do anything. Since we're being held in prison, you could talk to a few of these revenants, as what they're called, but you can't talk to the girl in white, the one who saved you. See, she's asleep. And the guy behind you will actually just tell you to leave her alone. And for some reason, he just stopped talking as soon as I faced him. But anyways, most people in this situation don't really say anything too important. I mean, they talk and say like what happened, like this one right here. They tell you like getting close to this mist without a mask essentially drives you crazy. and the fact that there was a war. There is some useful information here, like the guy next to the girl in white. He will tell you like basic information. I won't go through all of it because like it's pretty much unnecessary at this point.
Are you going to kill me too? Anything for a kick, right?
No, I'm not going to
Just
kill you
crush my
because
heart.
A, I don't have a weapon.
Stop already. My body may still be alive, but my soul died long ago. No one can stay sane after dying again and again and again and again.
Sounds
Don't
familiar,
take my
doesn't it?
memories. My family. I have nothing left.
When a person, like, they give you useful bits of information, like saying, like, these people more often than not have died over and over and over and over, and thus they are just slowly but surely losing their minds during all of this. And the blood beads, what you saw from that tree earlier, those are what give you that information. That guy in the background, he doesn't do anything, he just sips on a blood bead. Those things you use for sustenance.
This one's dry. The miasma's pretty thick. Damn it! We're running out of time before the next collection. Everything's ready. Right. I'm on my way. All dried up. Just like the others.
Yeah, all dried up. So there's no sense in searching with the miasma like this. Let's...
You know what these are, right?
Blood beads, right?
Yes, very good. Now I want you to search for blood beads in the tunnels ahead of here. You see, it's only a short time before the collectors come to take our levy. But once they do, I'm afraid we won't have any blood beads to give them. If we don't find some, Silva's hounds will strip the shirts right off our backs. Well, that's the long and short of it.
Why does it have to be us?
Don't ask me. The stupid levy system was Silva's idea. If you have a complaint, I suggest you take it up with him.
You lot go first. Get to work.
Don't. There's a better time and place. For now, we just have to obey.
Next!
Whoa there. You wait here with us. You can have this one back when you return. In exchange for any blood beads you find, of course. Oh, and I hear the hunter has been showing up around here lately. Make sure you don't all get killed.
You heard him. Move it!
Ouch! Hey, you okay? It looks like we can't get back up from here. We'll have to look for another way back. Oh, I'm Oliver Collins, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Alright, and as you saw with like the previous clip, we got our ass kicked down the hole and we're just gonna go find blood beans, and now we have to find them or we cannot save the person who saved us, the girl in white whose name we do not know. That's gonna be a good portion for this beginning world. Rusting at missile. This is just like your tutorial, another tutorial area. None of the enemies are super strong and while they can kill you, they're not that tough. Missile is basically your bonfire. That's it. Missile is your bonfire. You regen your ichor, your mana, whatever you want to call it, and your regeneration. Press right or left. You only have 2 items in the game, being your basic regeneration and ichor regeneration. You will have to buy ichor at later points because you can't actually have something that restores ichor on its own.
I can wait.
Unless it's like a gift later in the game. And you see we have a partner with us, Oliver, a man who warns us not to fight people with giant ass guns by ourselves. Just saying we have to go back and fight them. Excuse me.
Years for the
And
transformation to start. So
you'll see me actually doing this a lot. According to Oliver, some of the lost, the monsters in this case, are in a dormant state. X for weak attack, Y for strong attack. They'll give you tips. This is the beginning level. They'll give you tips of what to do right at the beginning, just in case you skip the tutorial section, which I think is good. But yeah, you'll see me do that against some lost that look like they're just sitting there, because this game, as it's been put out, is Souls-like, and the fact that they'll do ambushes, it's incredibly hard. The story's actually pretty good. Hold right trigger in all those directions and you get a different gift ability, but you see we're quite limited now. And like you saw right there, an enemy came up and you can see with my weak weapon, the pipe of thraldom. You're barely doing anything. You're better off just getting like, there's like no reason to hold on to this unless you count the DLC, which has a challenge for it. The DLC has no bearing on the story whatsoever, so it doesn't matter. Upgrading using your regeneration, it can be used basically at any time, and you just move right or left, and it's just in your quick item slot, and you press down to use it instead of like X in, say, Dark Souls 3, the most recent example I've been playing. And thus you get this basic information. Like in most games, you can increase the amount you get, you increase the health you get. And this actually kind of tripped me up when I first started playing this game. You hold RB, the right bumper, and the left stick to dash. And that was confusing to me at first. Because like right there, you see? You press B, you get your dash. And you have varying levels of dash. Since I have a light weapon, you actually go like you actually dash. Whereas with other games, you would get a roll. And you see it's actually kind of hard. And since this is another stat game, a stat RPG game at that, you will get weapons you can't use based off your, basically off your stats. Say if you have an A in strength, you can't use an S strength weapon because you don't have the strength to lift it. That's just giving a very basic example. And unless you're doing a challenge run, I suggest just always switching out your weapons. Right there, the backstab. Always switch out your weapons, in my opinion, because there's like no real point unless you want to stick to a weapon because you just happen to like the design. Since I'm basically going for like, well, retrieving haze, more tutorial lesson. Basically, it's kind of like in all Souls-like games, you die, you're gonna die unless you're a god at this game. When you die, you leave your haze. That's your currency for damn near everything. Your haze is your currency for leveling up, it's your currency for buying items, parry, and that's it. And you gain more ichor every time you do a drain attack, which parries will lead backstabs. And if you get back to haze, the haze is responsible for almost everything. With well, not everything, but like it's your currency for a lot of it. It's, like I said, it's for helping you level up and buy more items. In my opinion, it's better to just save the haze and use it all for leveling up, unless you're trying to buy some upgrade items. You have a focus state. Basically, whenever you dodge enemy attacks or when you take a lot of damage, you'll enter a focus state, and you basically become harder to knock down, and you can stun enemies easier. And if you have enough of your focus state, you can launch enemies into the air and basically do a drain attack, which does give you more ichor. The only problem is with this, it's actually kind of hard to get into a focus state, in my opinion. Whenever I play, you dodge left bumper to guard. It's hard to get into a focus state for me unless I'm fighting like a boss, because regular enemies don't really do anything. Ooh, lost bayonet. You can see right there what we just dodged. Oh, that was one of the characters using a bayonet. And as you just saw, we mastered gifts. Each class, so to speak, each blood code, has a specific set of gifts that you can learn. When you learn all those, when you learn them, you get to use them, but you can only use them for that class. You okay there, Oliver?
That wasn't very convincing, was it?
No, you weren't.
Are the old type.
Should you read my commentary? How dare you?
How are you doing? That girl, she's your friend, right? We should find some blood beads and go back for her quick.
Yes, we should. Back to what I was saying about the class. When you first learn them through a blood code, to put in basic, like, say we're doing like basic RPG standards, the problem with this, or to say how you learn it, is that you're stuck into a class. Say if you're a mage, and like you start out as a mage and you say you have fireball. Like, oh, you learn fireball, but I don't want to be a mage anymore. And say you want to move on to a knight. You can, but if you haven't mastered fireball, you can't use it outside of the mage class. But if you do master fireball, you can use it outside the mage class, and you can use it in, say, like the knight, the rogue, whatever. And that's kind of like a good thing about Code Vein. You could switch up your class on a whim, and that's good. It's like amazing in a sense. It's a little bit better than Dark Souls, in my opinion, on how it handles that. Say you don't have a limited amount of time to put your skills in it. Anyways, mapping. There are 3 different types of ways to map. You purify the missile, which you can rest at, or you can purify the rot missile, like right here, which just clears up the map, but you can't rest at it. And another way of doing it is killing an enemy infected with it, and that's the only way to do it. And you'll see that later on. I skipped over it, but blood veils are just your armor. Like, you put them on, and as you can see, you don't really see the blood veil on mine. But say we go over here to settings, because they added this later, which I think is amazing. You can change up a few different things, because some of these things weren't here beforehand. For example, you have cinematic blood drain. Basically, whenever you get a parry or whenever you do a backstab, you'll get a cinematic effect. Damage values will basically change up everything that happens. Basically, displays your health bar. Lock-ons, trafficking on. Vibration, I turn that off. That's annoying. It hurts my hands after a while. Minimap rotation does it on its own. Critical conditions, not screen effects. Yes, I hate this. I turned this off as soon as I could. Basically, the screen will go red and it will just annoy the heck out of me because you'll hear your heartbeat and it distracts me anymore. And you can see with blood veil transparency, you can turn it on and off. And as you can see, if I turn it off, you have your blood veil on. If I turn it on, you turn it off, and you basically just look at your character design. And this is something they added later, I believe, after the first DLC, which I think was amazing. Purifier mask, this is only for photo mode, so it really has no point. Okay, you can turn it on and off, so it has no point. And this partner conversation, I'll keep this on so you can get a hint of the character's personality. But they actually will not shut up during exploration at times. Like, they'll say go heal if you take damage, or they'll tell you to, like, say I got this, you need heal. Basically just tell you to heal, and it does get kind of annoying at times. But it does help. I'll keep it on for this playthrough so you can kind of get a hint of the character's personality when you're playing through this. As you can see with like a person like Colin, he's kind of quiet but reserved, but he seems to be a nice guy and he cares for you. And you could read hints for the tutorial section. Through this you want to destroy boxes because you might see some items, and you see this little ledge right here. I missed this on my first playthrough. You go down here,
Nice landing.
and you can get a Queenslayer Greatsword. Now each weapon has different weights. Since I'm using this weapon right now, I don't have like that little dash I have with the Pipe of Thraldom, and I actually can wield the Queenslayer Greatsword. And just me using a heavy attack, look, takes up like half my stamina. So, well, I'll go up here, and as you can see, there's an enemy. But be careful. And since, even though I have the cinematic effects on, I believe they don't play all the time in a small corridor. You need to be like in an open area for most of them, or you have to have like a special drain, or like get off the parry. And as you can see over there, I'm actually switching this back to my sword and bayonet because actually it's just easier. But as you see over there, there's a person. I think this is like the person who got smacked in the back of the head earlier.
Oh, didn't they pass us earlier? Are you okay? Did you get hurt? That could have gone better. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Don't worry about me. I'll be alright. Go on. You just focus on finding some blood beads, alright? That girl is waiting for you.